Good morning, everybody. I've got one in the house already. So my little green dots are working, say that I've got sound, which sounds good to me. And here I am in the UK. So the one person in the house, of everything working, you can hear the sound is okay, and the lighting really isn't the best in here because we've just got two windows at the back of us coming into me. And I've got the two lights in here. It's quite a dark apartment, but it is what it is. I know last week we were sat outside and we had a problem with the internet kept lagging type of thing because we were about 10 meters away from the internet box. But now I'm very close to the internet box. So we're just waiting for, we got three in the house now. So everything okay with the sound and that? If you leave a comment, I'll put a comment, see if the chat works okay. I think it does. Hi, everyone. Yeah, Thai time, still in the UK, lads. Yeah, I'm still in the UK. I'm here for another 4 weeks. I fly back home to Thailand on the 11th of September. So I've booked my flights now. So I'm on the way down now. I've been here for 5 weeks and 4 more weeks to go. And then I fly back to Thailand. Simon Straight, hi Les. Thai time, yes, all working okay. So, all okay, marvelous. Thank you very much. I was up at 7 o'clock, so I set everything up. It's a bit of an ad hoc thing because I've been busy over the past week, and I've just set everything up in the living room, and it's close to the box, and so hopefully everything works okay. And let's hope that it works through this stream. Normally, when I'm at home in Thailand, I have a set procedure how everything sets up, but here everything's sort of coupled together. I've got my laptop set up on top of a washing bowl on top of a bench. If I took a picture of it, it'd be quite funny. But anyway, I digress. Away we go. We're still okay. We're still about 15 minutes, 10 minutes before I said I was going to come on at 9 o'clock UK time and 3 o'clock Thai time. So not my usual retired and living the dream mug. Best uncle who's given off my niece's kids. So they're away now in Turkey having a holiday, and they come back Tuesday. So let's hope that they've had a good time in Turkey. So have you been in a point? Yeah, I've got it. I woke up this morning with a bloodshot eye. Yeah, it looks like that. When I looked in the mirror, I mean, this eye's a bit close, isn't it? No, I haven't quite been in the punch-up type thing. Just woke up this morning, a bloodshot eye. Maybe I poked myself in the eye whilst I was asleep. I don't know. But no, I stay away from a phrase and all the things that's been happening over the past few days or so. So no, yeah, looking on the camera now, looking back at my eye, it's like half closed, isn't it? I'm cold though. I still feel the cold. Today, Sunday, blue skies, a little bit overcast in places, but it's quite warm today. And I think most people would agree it's been a miserable summer here. And our first, I think 12 days in Redcar, the sun only came out 2 or 3 times. So anyway, it is what it is. And I'm looking forward to getting back to sunny Thailand, even though my wife says we've had a lot of rain where we are. And but it's warm rain, isn't it? Thailand or UK? Yeah, we're in Thailand. We're in UK now. I'm sat in the UK, sunny Redcar on the northeast coast of the UK, and I go back to Thailand in 4 weeks' time. Cooper's Travels, hi Les, hi, thanks very much for joining us. I say we're still a little bit early, but I like to switch everything on and make sure everything works beforehand. So basically, this is your time to ask any questions you want with regard to visas or if you're going to make the move and things like that. I have done several videos whilst I've been here, and they have been quite well looked at. And one of them, I think today I looked at it, was 124,000 people. Wow. My other highest video on top of that was 92,000. But 124,000 people. Wow. So pleased with that. I wish all my videos had attract that amount of attention. But I seem to get more views here than I do in Thailand. But what that reason's for, I have no idea. Maybe it's the location or something like that. But the last one that I did, that I talk about retirement or retiring early, and we'll go on to that a little bit later on in this video. And that this morning is almost 6,000, I think it is, or just over 6,000, something like that. I think that's a very important video with regard to, life matter. And I'll come on to that a little bit later on with regard to my feelings on why everybody should retire as soon as they can, for as long as they can, whilst they can. It's been an horrible 4 or 5 weeks. I found out some horrible things over the past 4 or 5 weeks. And coming from sort of a happy environment where I live, it's sad to see what's going on over here. But again, more about that later. Now then, Les, Colin from Mask. It's just up the road. Flying back to Thailand on the 20th for 2 weeks. Then go back to Thailand, Nakhon Phanom, 30th of December. I'm 62, can't wait. Good for you. December in Thailand is beautiful. It is sort of the best weather because it's the cool, what's called the cool season. It's still hot, but it's cooler and it's not as humid. At the minute now, there's a lot of rain. Although it's much cooler now because the rain's come, we still get sunny days. It doesn't rain every day, all day. So yeah, well, I mean, I've lived in Thailand for 12 years, so I'm always going to say something good about it. Is it perfect for everybody? No, it isn't. But for me, it ticks all my boxes. I travel the world for 2 years, and Thailand always had a special place. And I knew if the proverbial stuff hits the fan, Thailand would be my place that I'd go to. And something hit the fan, and here I am in Thailand. Well, not today. UK is done with Les. Enjoy your life in Thailand, mate. Yeah, we're going to discuss a bit of that as well, about the UK, my thoughts on it and things like that. Retire, don't give up. Hi, Les. Look great, and all. Thanks for the plug, mate. 11 more subscribers. Well, I'm going to give you another plug as well a little bit later on, Dave. Now, Dave, Retire, Don't Give Up. Go and have a look at his channel. He's a guy that I helped to relocate over to Thailand. And so he's starting from scratch, really. So basically, if you want somebody to talk to or chat to who's starting everything from scratch, and he'll tell you the pitfalls and what he's done right, what he's done wrong, and how he's done it and how he's gone about it. You know, it's sort of a grassroots restart, if you get it. I mean, I've been here for 12 years, so I've seen it being there, got the t-shirt, if you like. But Dave, he's on his journey and everything's exciting and everything's new. So Retired, Don't Give Up. Have a look at his channel. He's a good guy. He's one of the good guys. I was in the UK the first time this summer. The people are very nice. The weather and the food were bad, but the beer was good. Yeah, I do miss John Smith's and Worthington's. So I've had a few of them. I've been out with a few of my friends, and we've had a few beers, and it's been nice. The people are nice. The Northerners are very, very nice. It's nice to walk out well, you've seen when I do my videos and I walk past anybody and I say good morning. I say good morning or good afternoon to everybody that I pass. And nearly, I would say 99 out of 100 have already said good morning or hello. In Thailand, I meet some foreigners walking by, no matter where I am, and some of them look at you as if, who are you? Who are you to say hello to me? So up north, we are friendly up north. And it's a good location. Redcar is actually improved, I would say, tremendously in the 14 years that I've been away. I've had to walk around many of the places I used to walk around, going to my school and things like where I used to live. And it's a nice place. And they're expanding Redcar. There's many more housing developments going on. So Redcar is, for me, on the up. And it's a good place to live. On the beach, sound you had difficulties with the NHS as you've been out in the UK for over 6 months. Again, I'll come on a little bit about the NHS treatment and things like that, because, yeah, I've got a few things to say about that. I'll pay you later, mate. Okay. Thanks. Booked 15th of October to Famtai for duration. Okay, good for you. Now, I've got a bit of a problem with this eye, so I am squinting a little bit, so apologies for if I'm looking at the comments going by on the right hand side. They are a little bit blurry today, but I'll talk about that as well. I went to Specsavers to get some glasses, but again, I've got many things to talk about in my 5 weeks that I've been here, and we're coming up to another 4 minutes, and that's like 9 o'clock when people were due to log on or have a look. Tickets booked 10th of October. Yeah, good for you. Made it easy to. Les, what's the change in Thailand's immigration laws? Have they made it? Yeah, they have actually made it easier to get over there. Oh, yeah, they've made it easy. They've actually. I'll have to do a little bit more research on the visas, but for me, they've altered it now to a 60-day visa. So then you can get 60 days visa exemption. So you don't need a visa, you just land, and they will give you a 60-day exemption visa. And then you can apply for another 30 days. So in reality, you can live there for 90 days. The new DTV visa, I think it's DT visa, that lasts for 180 days, and that can be renewed for up to 5 years. Although it sounds very, very easy to do and it sounds advantageous, and you think, wow, I'll have one of them, there is a few strings with that one I found. People are putting online, oh, they have to do this, they have to do that, they have to get a letter from the company, blah, 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 blah. So there is a lot more strings to do that. I would, in this early stages, if anybody wants to stay for an extended stay and they don't want to get a retirement visa, just go for the 60 days, they extend it for 30. Then you can do that one more time. Then you have to leave the country. So, I mean, already 90 days plus another 60 days plus another 30. That's almost, well, it's a long time. It's a long time you can stay in Thailand. And it's simple to do. The retirement visa is still the same thing, 800,000 baht in the bank or 65,000 baht a month. I'm going to do another video as well for the marriage visa, because my marriage visa was up for renewal when I came over here. And because I couldn't fit it in the time frame, my marriage visa is being cancelled. So I have to reapply for a marriage visa now. I have to start all over again, applying from outside of Thailand to the Thai embassy in London. It hasn't been a nightmare, but wow. Because of the situation, I live in Thailand, but they wanted to prove what proof I've got to say that I'm living in England. It was a bit of a mishmash, really, but we got there in the end. And I'm going to do a video about that. So for those people who are on the marriage visas, don't let it run out, or don't leave the country when it's due to run out. Sadly, I had to leave the country and I couldn't do it beforehand. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to come over to England until September. But I'll explain that in another video, because it's quite complicated, but it's bureaucracy. I even went down to immigration to explain my situation, and she said, no, nothing you can do with it. You have to leave the country, then reapply again. So yeah, it is a bit of an issue, but we got there in the end. I was sad to hear the news about Ed Sweeney, but at least he's going to try and get back to Thailand. Another example of when you should retire as soon as you can. Sadly, I think with Ed, I'm a realistic person. I live in the real world, if you like. And as though Ed's saying he wants to come to Thailand physically, mentally, and affordability, in my mind, I think he's been told he's also got 15 months to live. I think time and everything's against him. He should just, for me, just bow out gracefully. And I think he's going to see his days out in the UK, sadly. Ed's not my cup of tea. Never has been, but he's 50-odd thousand people's cups of tea. And, I wish him the best of luck type of thing. It was sad to see, and I have followed him for what's gone wrong for him in Thailand, and I do feel sorry for him. But he's in the best place in UK, because had he not had any insurance, and I think he's going to struggle to get insurance to go back to Thailand if he collapses, or with what he's got is quite a serious thing. He wouldn't be able to afford the care and the attention that's needed. Now, for me, I've touched on that. If I ever got a terminal illness, I'll see my days out in Thailand. I wouldn't come back to the UK to prolong my life, if you like. If my number's up, my number's up. But I'm fortunately in a sort of better position than Ed was, because I've got a place in Thailand. I'm established in Thailand. So where Eddie was a traveller, and he liked to travelling, and sad to see, but exactly what the comment was made, another reason to retire as soon as you can, for as long as you can. And as we're on that subject, I'll carry on with that. 3 people that I know have got lung cancer. I've come back to England, and I've got quite a few friends over here and in Thailand. 3 people I know, they've got lung cancer. 1 person that I know has got dementia, and they're all around my age, mid-60s. Charlie from Charlie Bar, that was in Banpei, has just died of cancer. What was the other one? Another friend of mine had a heart attack on his journey back to Thailand, type of thing. On his first day of coming back into Thailand, Dave from Retired But Don't Give Up, have a look at his channel. So that's what I'm saying, all in the mid-60s. And the government is turning around and saying that everybody should work until like 67, 68, 70. They're on about putting it up to 70 years old. Where's your retirement life then? Your golden years. Majority of people that I know that are over 60 are aches and pains and moans and groans and that. There's very few people that I know that are fit and healthy at that age. So my message to anybody is retire as soon as you can, for as long as you can, whilst you can. We all know how much money we have in the bank, or savings, or how much we can get hold of, but not one of us knows how long we've got left to live. That clock is ticking from the minute you're born until the minute you go. There is no escaping it. We can prolong it a little bit, but it's never going to go away. Okay, there we've got a Billy Bob question. I have a 3-month non-O visa. I'm now trying to open a bank account. Any tips? Do not want to use an agent. Well, that's very difficult, Billy. I would say, in fact, I tell everybody to use an agent, because it is so difficult. The amount of time and effort you're going to spend going from A to B to try and get a bank account opened, and it's not going to work. It's between 4,000 and 5,000 baht to get a bank account opened. Then it's done. It's over and done with. It's a small price to pay for the convenience. It's a bit like a chicken and egg. If you want to get a visa, you need a bank account. If you want a bank account, you need a visa or a work permit and things like that. They are so difficult. And although it's not stated publicly, but this is my interpretation of it, the Ruskies, because they've been filtering money or washing their laundry, if you like, they have caused this problem where you can't get it on a tourist visa. But the magic of the agents, they wave their magic wand and you can get it. I have heard 1 or 2 people actually getting a bank account, but boy, is it been so difficult. Unless you've got a sizable amount of money to put in, like 1 million or 2 million baht, then you can open a bank account. And even sometimes opening a bank account with the 800,000 that you need for your retirement visa, they can be picky and choosy with that also. So I would turn around and say, use an agent, even though you've asked me to say no agents. But I think you'll find that's the easiest thing to do, using it. There's nothing fishy about opening a bank account with an agent. There's a little bit of grey area with getting a visa with the agent. For a bank account, there's nothing. Once it's open, it's open. And that's the difficulty, getting it open. Do you need proof of address from immigration? At least 30 days left in your visa to open a bank account. Yeah, you do need proof of address to open a bank account. But say if you do it with an agent, you still need 30 days. You still need 30 days on your visa to open up a bank account. And you don't have to have a proof of address because the agent sorts all that lot out for you. And then when you're up and running and everything's running smoothly, then you can change your address with the banks. But like for me, I opened my bank account 12 years ago in Pattaya. And I live in Rayong now. So it cost me every time I use the ATM, 30 baht, which isn't a lot of money, like 70 pence if I make a withdrawal from the ATM. But if my main bank was in Rayong, then it wouldn't cost me anything to use the local ATMs. But I went down to the bank to see if I could transfer it over from the Pattaya. And she said, no, you have to go down to Pattaya, close the bank account, and then reopen it up here. And I've seen the trouble that people have opening and closing banks. So I just say, okay, I'll pay the 30 baht. I'd make one withdrawal a month from the ATM. So 30 baht a month, 70 pence a month isn't a life changer, is it? So bank accounts in Thailand, they can be difficult. So again, use an agent. But you do have to have 28 days on your visa you do need 28 days on your visa to be able to obtain a bank account also. Work till you're 35, yeah. Well, I would say 40. Come on. You've got to pay some money into the government, don't you? Because the government will take as much as they can off you and try not to give you it back. 40, I think, is a good age. 50 is fantastic. I retired on my 50th birthday only because I'm lucky, and I thank my lucky stars. I was on strike at the steelworks because we were on strike for 13 weeks in total, and I was on strike after 6 weeks. I'm thinking having no money isn't much fun at an 18-year-old, and I joined the fire brigade at 19-year-old, and the guy said 2 days on, 2 nights, 4 days off every week. You retire at 50. Who doesn't want to be a firefighter? And because I got accepted for the job, I said, yeah, I'll have that. But did I think about retirement? Did I think about the pension? It just went straight over my head. Because a 50-year-old to a 19-year-old you're an old man then. But now I'm reaping the rewards of it. I paid into it. People seem to think I've got it for nothing, but I haven't. The average life of a firefighter, once they're retired, when I joined, was only 10 years because of all the smoke and the inhalation and one thing and another. But health and safety and good union has increased that. So I am lucky, and I thank my lucky stars that I chose the profession where I could retire at 50, and I've enjoyed it, every minute of it. And now I'm 64, I've got arthritis, I've got my knees ache and creak on the morning time of thing. I'm slightly overweight. I don't smoke and I don't drink, but I've still got emphysema. So things in my mid 60s is going wrong. I cannot do what I did at the age of 50. So for the government to say we're living long, might be living longer, but our health is a lot more frail in our elder years than it is when you're younger. So retire when you can for as long as you can. The main reason for Brits in healthy after 60 years is because of much alcohol and no exercise. Well, I don't do any exercise. That's true. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. I drink very little. I don't smoke. But I think a lot of it is to do with the amount of processed foods that we eat. Also, look at America. You know, everybody's big in America, and it's the same now in the UK. And to a certain extent, there's a lot of more obesity in Thailand also, and that's because of the Western food, all the additives, and it's been proved that it makes people obese. The sugars that they put in the food over here, and the preservatives, it's just incredible. So it's not just the alcohol and the lack of exercise, it's what is being put in the food. But again, that's my opinion, but I've watched many, many documentaries and programs about it. And if you just read it all, it's correct. Now, I don't have sugar at all. I drink 0-calorie sugars, sugar sodas and things like that. I don't put sugar in my food when we cook it. So I avoid sugar as much as I can. Apart from coming over here, my sister's loaded me up with custard slices, custard donuts. Because I don't get them in Thailand. She thinks I need them. I miss them. Question, any update on the tax changes? Here we are in August, 8 months into this new tax year with the Thai government and everything. And they announced it, said it was going to start on January the 1st. So wouldn't you have thought they've got the ducks in a row and mentioned all of this lot before they said about it? Now, I've said this many times before. What was happening is that the government is casting a big net to catch all the wealthy Thai people who are avoiding tax, and not just Thai people, but anybody, wealthy person that's trying to avoid paying the tax. But the net has caught us small fish as well, all our pensions and things like that. And actually, this law was made a number of years ago, but they've never enforced that law. So now they've sort of shot themselves in the foot, and they're trying to find a way out of it. And as yet, it's still not been resolved. Even the tax experts will come on and tell you, there are many people out there saying, come and contact us, we'll help you with your tax affairs, and they'll charge you £5,000 or £7,000 to send your tax information to the Thai government to say he doesn't have to pay any tax. It's a little bit of a, free for all at the minute. So just cross that bridge when it comes to it. I'm not worried about it at all. If they come and tell me I have to pay a little bit more money, well, then I'll pay a little bit more money. It's, for me, just living on my pension, it's not going to be an awful lot. I've worked it out. It could be another £100 a month for me to pay tax to live in Thailand. And I think for me, it's a small price to pay. But there are ways around it also. The tax experts have got loopholes and things like that. And if you're married to a Thai person, well, then you're a little bit better off as well. So I would say, don't worry about the tax. Just wait until you cross that bridge, and we'll get there when we get there. I apologize if anybody asks me a question and I'm replying to somebody. What's happening when people are putting the message on there, it scrolls up and I might miss it. So I'm not avoiding your question. So please put a queue for a question, and then I'll answer it as best as I can. But thank you very much for any of the questions. And if I can answer them, I'll answer them. And nine times out of 10, I can give you the answer straight away. But if I don't know the answer, then just email me and I'll direct you to the people that can. I mean, I've lived in Thailand now for 12 years. So I know my way around it and the system, and you can navigate the system. You can bend the laws, but not break them. I wouldn't recommend anybody break any of the laws in Thailand, but you certainly can bend them to suit your favor, because when all's said and done, Thailand is a land of bendability and brown envelopes. Okay, thanks for the question. When are you coming back to Thailand? In 4 weeks. I come back on the 11th of September. I booked my flights now, and I'm looking forward to coming back. I can't wait to come back. I've enjoyed my time in England, basically because this is the first time I've been back in the summer months. Sadly, the last 2 occasions I've had to come back when my mum passed and my stepdad passed, it was in the winter months. So it was always dark and miserable, horrible and grey, and that reflected my mood as well. And maybe as I was a little bit more objective to England. But in the summer, although we haven't had much of a summer in the 5 weeks I've been here, it's pleasant. And Redcar is a nice area to live in comparison to many other places in the UK at the moment. So thumbs up for living in Redcar. And I'm going to do a couple more videos as well. Saltburn, just down the road, Whitby and Scarborough, if I can fit them into the next 4 weeks. But yeah, back to Thailand in 4 weeks. You can open another bank account in Ray and Les. same bank, then just run the patio on down until it's empty, or just transfer funds. The bank, they said not. They said for me to open up the same bank in Rayong, I had to close the one in Pattaya first. So I wasn't going to take the risk to close the one in Pattaya to try and open another one up. It means altering all sorts of things for me, transfer wise, different bank account. So for me, it was too much hassle to be able to do that just for the sake of saving 30 baht. So I just left it as is, and then I can do that, and I'm happy with that. Got love Thailand, anytime, let me know, go for a ride. John the accountant, hello John. Cut the cheap sliced bread out of the start healthy. Yeah, well, Warburton's bread. I'm in love with Warburton. Warburton's bread is the best. £1.40 a loaf it is, but it's beautiful. Thick slice bread. Toasted tea cakes. Again, we don't get tea cakes in, so toasted tea cakes. I have put half a stone on since I've been here, but that was my sister feeding with me with all the stuff that she thinks I missed. She's my sister when all said and done, and you know she's trying to look after her brother and trying to give me the stuff that I don't have in Thailand. So yeah, I put half a stone on, so I'll be back on the keto diet once I get back to Thailand. But let's face it, I'm here for a short time anyway. More or less, think with 60k in the bank and a living allowance of around 1.3 a month, a reasonable champion to live a nice. Yeah, you could 1.3. Is that dollars or pounds? Well, for both. I mean, I've just done a video. You can live on £800 a month in Thailand. Jomtien is probably the higher side of it because of the entertainment area. Oh, hang on. Okay, yeah, I'm answering that question. Your question just flipped up outside the question area. Yeah, for 1,300 a month, if that's pounds or dollars, they're roughly the same. You can have a good life in Jomtien. Jomtien is sort of nice. I lived in Jomtien for 2 years and loved it. It was just far enough away from the madness, and it's sort of a different thing. It's a different feeling because you get some nice people living in Jomtien. There's a big expats community. Cheap Charlie, fantastic food in there and very reasonably priced on soy 4, I think soy 4 or 5. And the immigration offices are on soy 5. So everything is local. For me to get my immigration office is 45 minutes. If you lived in Jomtien, you could walk to it. But it's very busy. So yeah, Jomtien, there are many places. There's a friend of mine rented a nice 1-bedroom studio sort of on the outskirts of Jomtien as you go up Beach Road. It's where the auction houses used to be. Collingbourne's auction rooms. On that side there, if you go past Collingbourne's and on the right-hand side, I forget where it's called, but a friend of mine is living in a beautiful studio there. 2 big swimming pools on the very safe, and 6,000 baht a month, 130 quid a month. So you can still get nice accommodation around Jomtien. It's a bit more of a walking into the centre of Jomtien, but basically, if you want to live in the centre, you pay a much higher price to live there. But when all's said and done, it's a nice place to live. Yeah, £1,300 a month. Better to move up north. I agree. I mean, Chiang Mai is supposedly the cheapest place to live in Thailand, or one of the cheapest, where there's lots of expats. But they have the smoky season, you know, for 3 months of the year, when many people complain about that. So I would say just move from place to place until you find the place that you want to hang your hammock, and then just go from there and just live the lifestyle that you want. If you want entertainment, then you need to move to an entertainment district or close to it. But when all's said and done, the entertainment is everywhere in Thailand. You know, some's better than others. Hua Hin, I would say that's another beautiful place to live. But the further you move out the centre of Hua Hin, it's more affordable and it's more cost effective. £1,300 a month is well adequate anywhere in Thailand for a life much better than you would have in the UK. I agree, because that's where I live on, John. About £1,300 or £1,400 a month. Okay, John the accountant, a question for you, because a friend of mine is moving over to Thailand and he hasn't got any properties or anything else like that in Thailand and in the UK. So how can he get around the banking situation in England? Because he has to have a bank account. He just had an argument with his daughter, and she won't allow him to register his address at her house. So he's sort of going to be, he's got nowhere for his postal. So he's worried about his bank account being closed. So is there a way around it? I think we discussed it a while ago that you can actually, you can offer a service or something, or of a service where people can have a home address for postal and for banking details. So just send me an email, will you, John, with regard to that. I'll put my email address, 58 at yahoo.com. So just send me an email, John, if you don't mind, with regard to that. I know we've discussed it in the past, but I've had a few people who've asked me sort of a similar question. Now, I'm lucky because I'm registered at my sister's address, and so I've still got my bank account here. But if that ever happened or changed, then I'd just get my private pension and my state pension paid directly to Thailand. It's going to cost me a little bit more money, but you do not have to have a UK address to get pensions and that sent. You can get it directly sent to your Thai bank account. Let's have a look. Washing your car. Question what you think about living there for 6 months, English winters. I would say if you live there for 2 weeks, it's better than 2 weeks in the cold anywhere when it's winter. 6 months of the year, you're sort of getting the best weather. You're getting the best weather that Thailand has to offer. So it does you far better to see a blue sky as opposed to a grey sky. I think I suffer from that sad seasonal adjustment disorder. Somebody, that might be slightly wrong explanation of it. But when it's a grey day here, it makes me feel sad. It doesn't make me feel happy. Blue skies, I love blue skies. I don't mind it being cold as long as it's blue skies and the sun's out. Well, you get an abundance of that in Thailand. It's warm every day. You can go swimming in the sea and it's warm. It's a nice part of the world. So I've got to say, once you go there for your 6 months, you'll think, yeah, Les was right. So go and live there for the 6 months. You'll love it. Absolutely love it. And it's a sort of a fair weather. It's always in the 30s, high 20s to early 30s. It's a beautiful time of the year. Have you been to Da Nang, Les, or Siem Reap, Cambodia, which appear the lowest living popular retired destination? Yeah, I've been to Vietnam. Vietnam was my second choice. I went to a place, I've traveled from the south of Vietnam all the way to the north in various buses, cars, and trains. And I love Vietnam. In fact, I love Vietnam that much. I could have lived in there. And there's a place called Sapa. I've traveled around the world for 2 years, and I've got to say Sapa is probably my best location I've ever been for jaw-droppingly, wow, this is so beautiful. And it was very, very reasonable to live there. It's seasonal for the weather, and there's a lot of rain and there's a lot of clouds, but the stunningly beautiful, warm location, it's breathtaking. And I've been to the Hawaiis, I've been to America, I've been to the Fiji and things like that. All beautiful, stunningly places. But the best place in the world for me was Sapa in Vietnam, North Vietnam. It was stunningly, stunningly beautiful. I could have lived there. It was that beautiful. And so Da Nang, I spent 3 or 4 days in Da Nang. I liked Da Nang. Never been to Cambodia, never been to Laos, but Laos is on my list of places to go. Not because of cheapness, but because of stunningly beautiful places to go and see. And it's on my bucket list. So Vietnam, thumbs up from me. It's a beautiful place to go and visit as well. If they sorted the visa out for people to stay there, it'd be a lot more easier. As of yet, I don't think Vietnam have got a retirement visa. And like what happened during the COVID, they threw everybody out. So everybody had to leave the country, all the foreigners type of thing. So that's the only downfall about Vietnam, is that it's much harder to get a visa, if you can get the visa at all. So beautiful place. Yeah, Pear's a beautiful place where Dave lives. I've been there. We stayed there on our midway trip up to Chiang Mai. Thanks for returning my email question about going to Sakon Nakhon in November. No problem. Again, if anybody emails me, I answer every single email. Now, it may take a little bit of a while, but sometimes it goes into my junk folder as well. But I do look at my junk folder more often now. So I do respond to every email that's sent to me. And I try my hardest. If you put a comment on any of my videos, I try my hardest to answer them as well. But such as on that video with 124,000 subscribers, there was over 1,000 messages on there. It's impossible. If you put 1 minute to reply every single message, I'll be doing that forever. So I do reply to as many as I can. So if I've missed your comment or your question, I do apologize, but send me an email. I answer every single email that comes to me. Planning basically 2 years jump gym, as we'll be moving to Nakhon and so on after that. Yeah, 2 years in jump gym, you like it. Again, Thailand is a beautiful place. It is. It really, really is. Thanks very much, John, for sending me the email. Again, he's a friend of mine. And so again, it'd be just interesting for me, because there's some things that I don't know, and I've got to ask other people, and you're one of these other people that I can ask. And by doing that, then that solves a lot of problems, and then I can direct them towards you if you were in a position to be able to give them information. So thanks very much for that, John. Use Chase as a main bank account as long as is it set up before he leaves, it will be fine. Chase, I've never heard of that one. I do offer office trading address and personal registered address from the UK with passing on mail by scanning. Oh, that's good. Yeah, there's a few people who will want that. And as I said, moving to the other side of the world isn't absolutely trouble-free. There are various things and obstacles. And basically, I know 90% of the things that people need to do. And I've helped many people make the move over to Thailand. And it's just like, when I did it, I had nobody to ask. You know, this 12 years ago, YouTube, this is a phenomenal thing. The information is out there. No matter where somebody lives, anywhere in Thailand, there will be a video on it. So you can ask any and all information, find out the location that you want to go to, find a YouTuber that's in that area. They will give you all the information that you could ever dream of. They will give you help and advice and guidance towards living there, moving there, or stuff like that. When I did it 12 years ago, I had nobody to ask. And it was sometimes a suck it and see, trial and error type of thing. But this is what I try to offer those people who are in the same position, living in Thailand, and me doing this YouTube video thing. It's sort of an evergreen situation, because there is always somebody going to move to Thailand every single year. Always somebody's retiring. Always somebody has got divorced. Always somebody who's got a marital breakup and wants to make a new change in life. I've been through all of them lot. So I'm sort of the horse's mouth, being able to talk about these things. I've been through bankruptcies. I've been through divorces. I've been married 4 times, divorced 3 times. Lost contact with my kids because my kids sort of abandoned me. I'm the world's worst dad. I've got to tick my own box and say, no, I'm not, but the kids have got it wrong. So I've been through all of them, and I've talked to many, many people who've been in the same situation. And sometimes just having that somebody to talk to who's been through the same process is a big tick in the box, because, you know, you're talking to somebody that's experienced it. Do I know all the answers? No, I don't know all the answers, but I can only give you my details, because I've been into that deepest, darkest hole that some people have been into, and it's a bloody long way out. And to talk to other people who've been there helps you along that pathway as well. I'm a very sort of independent person. I rarely ask other people for advice, because I try to do everything myself. I've only ever used an agent once in Thailand, because I had to. I was forced into a corner, and he helped me out. But as it was, a day later, I didn't need the agent, but I couldn't backtrack, if you like. That's why I have my workarounds for visas and things. There's always a workaround. There's always a solution, but it's always a legal workaround as well. I would never tell anybody to do anything illegal, because there are many ways to skin a cat in Thailand, and there are many ways of legally wise doing all of this lot as well. So I can steer, bend the rules, if you like, but it's still all within the law. And the stuff that I do, helping other people out, it's saved them thousands and thousands of baht. It really has, you know, and it can do. And I'm sure all the people would agree that I've helped out. There's not one person I can think of that I've given bad advice to. In fact, I'm 100% guaranteed I've never given a bad advice to anybody. But it's like everything else, you know, you take the advice, and not just off me, but all other YouTubers, and you draw your own conclusions as what you want to do, where you want to go. I do a one-to-one telephone call service. That's $10, and you can speak to me face to face on WhatsApp or something like that. And you can ask as many questions you want. And if the conversation lasts for an hour or 2 hours, it's still $10. And if you don't get the information that you want, then you don't pay. It's simple as that. There's other YouTubers who are charging 45 quid for a 30-minute talk, and you've got to pay £45 up front before you have a talk to them. There's other YouTubers that charge a Patreon fee or charge a private members area. I don't do any of that. Everything that I have on this channel is for free. I don't charge anybody anything. I charge a £10 for the $10 for the consultation, because that's taken my time up. But whether it's an hour or 2 hours, it's still the same price, $10. I have various ebooks that I made for moving to Thailand, for the Keto Diet and something like that. That's where people can help my channel. I have a buy me a coffee. If you buy me a coffee, you buy me a coffee. Thanks very much. And buy me a coffee link on the description. Same with the ebooks. So you're getting something for $3, you know, ebooks. You can't get anything to do with the keto or my advice for $3, the price of a cup of coffee. In fact, it's the price of less than a cup of coffee. So it's a lot more than $3 for a coffee around here. But this is how I make money. I don't charge people for private videos or, you know, Patreon fees. It's free. Les is free. And I give it freely the information on emails and things like that. Anyway, that's my shaking my own bell, if you like, or shaking my own flag. If you like that idea, what I've just said, give me a thumbs up. We've got 24 and we've got 89 people in the house. So if you like that, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. It's all for my balanced situation that I feel. And also, I don't, if anybody puts a negative comment, I don't delete negative comments. If they're offensive, I'll delete it. But it's to get a balanced view. I'm not always right in everything. And I have a different opinion than some other people. I don't mind other people's opinions, even if they're sort of a negative opinion, because that's the way I get my balanced view. I'm not right in everything. So I'm sort of in the middle. I'm an easygoing guy. I can go up and I can go down. But if it's not offensive, I do not delete the comments that people put. But if it's offensive, I'll hide you from the channel so you can't see it, or you don't see it unless you go searching for it. Good morning. May I ask your opinion? In Thailand, safe, and when would you recommend for the first visit? Safe. It is much safer in Thailand than it is here. And I say that because having lived here all my life in Redcar, some parts of Redcar I wouldn't walk after midnight. But in Thailand, I've been all over the place, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe slightly inebriated, and never, ever, ever felt threatened by anybody. The crime rate is so low because the punishment is so severe in Thailand. Yes, there is crime in Thailand. There's crime everywhere in the world. But I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, Thailand is much, much safer place than the UK. And even more so now with what's going on with the enrichment of all of these foreigners that are coming over here, and the troubles that's going on at the minute. I can only see that going in a spiral direction, in the wrong direction. Whereas Thailand, it is safe. It is a lovely place. And the time of year from November till April, it's the cooler season, if you like, in Thailand, and it's a beautiful place to visit at that time of year. So safety-wise, 98%. I can't say 100 because nowhere is 100%. Best time to visit, November till April. I hope that answers all your questions. Have a fantastic time in Thailand. Once you've been there, you'll get bitten by the bug of Thailand, how nice the people are, how nice it's just a feel-good place. Thailand is safe as long as you don't pick the wrong lady. Well, I picked 3 wrong ladies in England, so England isn't a safe place either, is it? But it's like everything else, buyer beware. You know, it's having that. If you have a gut feeling about somebody, go with your gut feeling that you're not in a good place, or go with a gut feeling that you're not with the right person that you're with. Your gut feeling goes a long, long way in Thailand. And but I can see why so many guys get stung in Thailand, because the girls that are in Thailand make you feel a wonderful person. And as guys, it's inbuilt into us to try and help other people, and especially women as well. So that's why we're sort of lambs to the slaughter in Thailand. If you get a bad girl, she can take every single penny off you. And I've seen that happen to many guys. And I always warn the guys of stuff like this. So when people have a conversation with me, I tell them the warts and all. And there's a few guys that are on here that'll agree with me, is that I tell them warts and all, and I don't hold back. And I have my things to say. Don't mean it in a nasty, horrible way. It just watch out for the red flags. You know, not everything that smiles at you in Thailand is friendly. Hi, Les. Sunny in England. Why are you not out in the sun? I am going out in the sun. Later on, I'm going to catch the bus to the hospital to go and see my sister. So I've been going to the hospital every day for the past week to go and see my sister. She's in hospital. And boy, that's just such a boring route. I'm almost now to knowing every single stop we're going to stop at. How long we're going to stop at a traffic light because there's roadworks type of thing. Yeah, sunny days. I'm waiting for my niece to come back from holiday, so then she can do the hospital visits, and then I can have 1 or 2 days off. But for the past 7 days, I've been up to the hospital every week, every day. And so, yeah, I haven't been able to enjoy the sun. I've done a couple of walks down into Redcar, which takes half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. But that's not the same as being able to go out for the day. I still want to go to Whitby. I still want to go to Scarborough. Saltburn, I'm going to go. So there's 3 more places on my list of places there I want to go within the next 4 weeks. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to get that. Pick a lady that's within 10 years of your age. If they are too young, probably it is for the money. Now, my wife is 26 years younger than me, and she's one of the nicest people I've ever met on this planet. She's a lovely girl. She's not perfect, but she is honest, sincere, trustworthy, and she knocks the spots off my 3 other wives. So that's 26 years younger than me. And I know a few other guys also, you know, that I've got good experiences with the younger wives. 10 years, I would say, 10 to 15 years. Pardon me. Yeah, you can push it to 15 years, depending on how old you are. But true words. Yeah, again, as I say, if it clicks, it clicks. I mean, let's face it, you never see a rich guy over here in England with an old lady, do you? If he's a wealthy guy, he never has an old lady stood by him. So it's the same. Sadly, money, it speaks volumes everywhere in the world. But in Thailand, you need less money to have a beautiful girl than you do in England. So you've been married 3 times, Les. So yeah, 3. I've been married 3 times. The third wife was a Chinese girl, but she was born in England. And gut feelings. This is where I'm saying go with your gut feelings. 2 gut feelings where I'm saying I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this, but I did, and I was wrong. But hey ho. I've been hammered, as I say, with 3 divorces. Thankfully, one of them, it didn't cost anything to get divorced. It was sort of a mutual agreement. Basically, the third wife, what that was about, we'd spent 2 years traveling around the world, and she wanted to come back to Redcar to work in the same coffee shop that she worked in, and to also live in the same apartment, if she could live in the same apartment in Redcar. And I didn't. So that's why we split up. She was sick of traveling out with a suitcase. So we came back for 6 months to live in England, and I hated it. And I said, this isn't the life for me. I do not want to live back in the UK. So we got a mutual divorce. And then again, the snakes that the solicitors are told her to go forward with the divorce, then I would end up paying, but she was wrong. So when all said and done, I've done a video on lawyers. They are criminals with certificates. And it was only because of the solicitor told my ex-wife to divorce me, not go through the 2 years mutual separation. Then we both just walk away from each other. She initiated the divorce because she got told that if she did that, then she wouldn't have to pay anything. But it backfired on her because I didn't have to pay anything because I wasn't living in England. So yeah, sometimes, it works. Sometimes it doesn't. We could have lived anywhere in the world and she wanted to come back to Redcar. And I didn't. So yeah, been married 3 times, been married 4 times, divorced 3 times. Hopefully this is the last one. Oh, the question. Yeah. Question: has the dog in Thailand been adopted? Yeah, he's been adopted. Buddy has got a new owner. I'm so happy. I'm going to do a video about it as well. But again, with one thing and another, I really haven't had time to do the video. But Buddy has been adopted, and adopted by a friend of mine as well. Sadly, his dog that he had died not so long ago. And then he's seen the video, and he went and had a look at Buddy, and he basically, from the minute he seen him, he said, yeah, I'm going to have him. So he's had his house sorted, he's had the gates built so the dog can't get out of the gate. So Buddy has been adopted, and Buddy has now got a new home. So thankful for Michelle and the Cats Protection League, or Cat Rescue Centre in Rayong. I still give her a donation, and if anybody wants to give a donation, if you send it to me saying donation to Michelle, I'll pass it on to her. I haven't got all of the information here, but if you buy me a coffee and you say send the donations to Michelle, I'll pass them on to her. But she sort of helped me out with tight spot because we were going to go away and the wife was going to go away to her mum, so the dog would have just starved to death. And I couldn't see that. I'm an animal lover myself. And so Michelle took pity on me, if you like, and I offered her to pay his vet's bills and things like that. So I did. And thankfully, long story short, he's been adopted now. So Buddy has got a forever home now, which is fantastic. So I'm really, really, really pleased with that. But I still send donations to Michelle. I give her 500 baht a month. because she helped me out with tight spot, and it goes towards the cats because she looks after 91 cats and 5 dogs. And I will also, when I get back to Thailand, I'll still do my 1 day a month volunteering to do any of the stuff that she finds difficult to do. So yeah, Buddy has been adopted. Thanks very much for asking. I was going to talk about that as well, but thanks very much for asking the question. Yeah, 100% lawyers, always 100% always good advice. Yeah, thank you very much. The only worry for me about retiring in the Philippines is losing capacity and having no one to manage my affairs. Well, we all sort of live with that. Again, my friend with dementia, we in his early days of dementia, he was in denial. So we went to the hospital and we got it for 5,000 baht. This was in Thailand. He got confirmed to having dementia. So in agreement with everybody, we got all of his affairs to be handed over to his family. So his family now deal with his money affairs, and they send him an income every month. And he doesn't worry about, well, he can't worry about it because every day is a Groundhog Day. So today he's totally forgotten what happened yesterday, but he can tell you what happened 30 years ago. So we all worry about that. But if you've got nobody to take care of you, then that is a bit of a sticky situation to be in, that's for sure. But you can still set it up with a lawyer, with a Thai lawyer, that if you go into a home or something like that, your affairs are managed by somebody in authority. So there always a way around it, but sometimes it might be a little bit more costly than having your family deal with it. So there is always a way. But you need to recognize, if you are going down the slippery slope of dementia or Alzheimer's and that, to get all of this lot put in early. But there's like Sunshine International retirement homes. They could sort all of them affairs out for you. For I think 80,000 baht a month, everybody takes care of you, absolutely 100%. And I'm going to do a few more videos on the assisted living in Thailand, because it's a big hot topic. And I wish I could have done more about it over here. I was going to do a meeting over here, but one thing and another, I can't fit it in the time that I've got, because there are lots of people asking the questions. So I'm going to do more videos on assisted living and care homes in Thailand compared to the UK, and how you can fund it without sort of losing your money. Because if you've got a house worth 200,000 or 300,000 pounds, the government are going to take every single penny off you up to 23,500 pounds. Now, I've come up with a solution or a way around this system where you can have your care. Okay, it's in Thailand, but you still have the asset. You don't lose your money, and it's going to cost a little bit less, well, a lot less than it's going to cost in England. So I have swings and roundabouts around getting around this system, but I just need a little bit more time to do it. So bear with me, those people who are in for it, for the assisted living. I would go along that route if I was heading in that direction. That was a big one, wasn't it? But I'm looking forward to that one. The assisted living is a fantastic route to go if you're of that age, and if you're heading down that slippery slope. Hi, Les. Sunny Portsmouth. No, you're not very late. You're only 50 minutes late. Don't worry. I started an hour ago anyway, so, but no problem. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, guys, you are expected to take care of your ladies' entire families. Absolutely 100% wrong. No, not expected to take. My wife has never asked. We've been married for 8 years. We've been together for 8 years, and she's never asked for one single penny towards her parents. If I've given something towards her parents, it's me that I've given it. She's never ever asked for it. Her parents are the salt of the earth. They are poor. Well, they're poorish, but they're not destitute, if you know what I mean. Never asked for a single penny. I give my wife a salary every month. She gives her parents some money out of that salary. Not one single penny has she asked from me towards a family. So it's the ground rules. If you're with a partner, you lay the ground rules out very, very early in Thailand to say, one, you're supportive of her, but not the whole family or the dogs or the buffaloes or anything else like that. As long as you get that straight from day one, then you'll have a happy lifestyle in Thailand. And are they going to ask you for donations and things like that? Of course, they're going to ask you for donations. But if you have this set out in the very, very early stages, then you've got nothing to fear from that. Same with, I'll pay for this, I'll pay for that, I'll pay for the other. It sounds very financial, and it is. But once you've got them ground rules set out, you'll have an easy life in Thailand. Where the grey areas appear and you're given, once you give, then you sort of expected to give. And then it could cause an argument when you say, no, that's enough, I'm going to stop. Lay them ground rules out from the very, very beginning and you'll have a happier life. That's my 2 pennies worth onto that subject. Do you think it was the uniform, Les? The uniform for what? Hey up, Les, how is it going? Going fantastic, thank you very much. In your last video, you mentioned you knew 3 mates with lung cancer. Are they by chance ex-firefighters? 2 of them are, yeah. 2 of them are ex-firefighters. Yeah, 2 of them are ex-firefighters, and 1 isn't an ex-firefighter, but was also a heavy smoker. So smoking has a lot to do with it. Again, I've got emphysema. And the doctors told me I've got very mild emphysema. This was detected a year and a half ago. And the doctor said to me, are you going to have to pack in smoking or reduce your smoking? I said, I've never smoked in my life. And I said, no intentions of smoking. So in reality, sometimes, you can get lung cancer by not smoking. I've got another firefighter friend who's gone through all of the tests because he's almost 70 years old now. And he smoked all of his life. And he said, your lungs are very good, very clear. So he smoked all his life and he's never, ever had any problems. So, yeah, 2 of them were ex-firefighters. Again, heart attack was my friend Dave from Retired Don't Give Up. On his first day back in Thailand, had a heart attack. Charlie from Charlie Bar, he was a big drinker and a big smoker. He died of cancer. There was, he went to the hospital and not feeling very well. 4 days later, he died, and he had cancer sort of everywhere. But he didn't have the money to go to the hospital to get checked out. He must have had various signs and symptoms and never, ever bothered getting him checked out because of financial reasons. But sadly, for good luck if you want, 4 days after he got diagnosed, he died. So that was a quick illness. And let's face it, I think none of us want to suffer in our older age. So it was a good but not so good way to go, if you like. But let's face it, we're all getting old. We're all going to die of something. There's nobody dies healthy nowadays. We always have something that's wrong with us. And with cancer, because I've done a lot of research with this, with cancer affects 50-50. So with 1 out of every 2 people, so you have a 50-50 chance of getting cancer or not. That's pretty high odds, isn't it? 50-50. So live as long as, this is why I'm saying retire when you can, because we never know when our numbers are going to get called and we have to go somewhere else. And that's not very nice. Hi, Scott from New Zealand. Thanks very much for joining us. New Zealand, beautiful part of the world. Hi, Les. Have to go. Great live stream, Les. Thanks for the plug. Thanks very much. 10 o'clock. Okay. Have a good day, Dave. Well done, mate. And I like your new bike. You need to do a couple of videos about your bike. If you do a couple of videos about your bike, you'll get a lot of views on that one. Beautiful bike. Enjoy, matey. No, Mark, today. My wife never asked for anything for family in 6 years. Good, good. Does she have a sister? She sounds like a winner, mate. Well done. No, she hasn't got a sister. She's only got 2 brothers. Her family are all hardworking people. All of her family, all got good jobs, hardworking, as are her mum and dad. Her mum and dad they sort of start work at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning because they run a farm, and they don't finish until 5 or 6 o'clock on the night. And they're both in the late 60s, and they work. That's why I help them out, because, you know, they are deserved people, and they work very, very, very hard. So my wife has never asked for a single penny for them, and it's me that's done it. Again, I've done a couple of videos on them. Or I should say, I have paid for 2 lakes or ponds to be put, one out the back of my wife's house. So now they have their own fish that they can eat themselves. They're almost self-sufficient in their farm. So they have their own fish, and then we built another lake. They have 32 rai of land, and we made a lake about 1 rai in size. So it's a big, big lake. And again, they have fish. They have fish there, so that helps make them an income as well, and being self-sufficient. They have their own chickens and stuff like that. They have their own rice fields. So yeah, they're pretty well off considering the farmers. Hospital care and only 17,500 baht. Okay. So sad what's happening in England. The riot, so sad. Okay, Scott, we'll come on to that in a minute. Highlights, how do your relatives feel about your dream away from UK? Does mother, sister and brother think you're a better person for living your dream? That was a hard one. Family reasons is always hard, is why I'm back in England at the minute, because my sister's ill. Sadly, she's in hospital for a while, but that's the only reason I've come back to England. My mother passed about 5 or 6 years ago. My stepdad died last year or a year and a half ago. But when I left 14 years ago, I left England, and I've sort of never really been back to England many times. It's arranged. We had a big party when I left, and it was all sad and things like that. But when all said and done, there was some people called me selfish for moving the other side of the world and traveling around that, because they said, well, what about your daughters? What if your daughter wants you? They said, then I'm living my life for my daughter to be on the telephone and say, okay, I'll be around. No matter where you live in the world, you're 24 hours away from coming back to your home country if anybody wants you. So for me, it's my life. I'm going to die one day. And if I can't do the things that I want to do, I think it's selfish of other people to put that feeling upon you, well, you're leaving me. You know, I'm going to be here all alone. And then, okay, so I stay in this country so I don't upset their feelings. Then I'm living for their feelings and not for mine. And I think, especially now, I talk to my mother and my stepdad twice a week on the iPhone or the iPad. So we still kept in contact. My stepdad came over to Thailand when my mother passed and spent like 2 weeks with us. And he said, I can see why you've come over here, Les. He said, it's a fantastic place. So for me, it's not being selfish. It's living your life, because once you're gone, you can't say, oh, well, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. You need to go and do what you want to do. And it is hard against family and friends and things like that. But you make new friends no matter where you go also. So family is always a hard thing to do. But if you want to go and do it, go and do it. Or at least go and give it a try and see what you think. But never, ever, please other people if it's against what you want to do, because then you're pleasing them and you're not pleasing yourself. So that was in a nutshell. I hope that is a suffice answer for yourself. But yeah, it's always a tough one. Eric, have a nice day, Les. Hope you're back soon. Thanks very much. I will be back in a month's time. I quit my union job after 30 years of age, 54. Took 8% of the amount of economy it grows to. I'm happy with that. Okay, good. Finances are always, get your finances in place, put your ducks in a row. And let's face it, we all know that end day is going to come one day for retirement and that. So have a plan. The last 8 or 10 years, make that an effort to say, okay, I need to do this and I'm going to do that, and just go for it. But if it doesn't work, if you get, especially over an age, the state pension, if you've contributed 35 years, you get a full state pension, and that's just over £800 a month. You can't live anywhere in the world on £800 a month, but you can live in Thailand for £800 a month. And I know you don't get any benefits if you've got housing benefits or if you're on a, social income and stuff like that. It is more difficult to walk away from that. And it's a big, big ask to do that, because once you've come off the system, it's so difficult to get back on the system. Thailand isn't a free place to live, and you do need an income to live, but you can live there on £800 to £1,000 a month, and you can have a really, really sufficient life on that. It won't be the bells and whistles of everything, but it is a good life. And I'd say to people, go and try it. Try before you buy, if you like. You're allowed to go over to Thailand, go live there for a month and see what it's like. Get past the holiday period and then see and look deeply into it. Do your research, have a look around. It is possible. Pudsey Boy Travels just logged on. Greetings from Hua Hin. Hua Hin divers have been there for 25 years. Don't miss anything. Okay, Hua Hin, another beautiful part of the world. I'll be coming down there in the next 2 months or so. Coming to go to see Sunshine International Development with regard to his opening of his new retirement home or retirement complex. Such a fantastic location. Hua Hin, beautiful part of the world, and also close to many, many other places around Thailand that's easily achievable to drive to and have a look at. The treatment he received in the supposed top hospital patio was shocking. King giving him antibiotics for brain tumour. Thankfully, he's back in Blighty. And I don't. There's two sides to every story. There is two sides to every story, and I can't comment on that because I've seen bad practices in England and I've seen bad practices in Thailand also. So I don't think every hospital, like one of my other friends, he was diagnosed with cancer here in England, diagnosed with cancer, had a biopsy, told that he had a collapsed lung, and now he's been told he hasn't got cancer. So 3 doctors are given 3 different information, 3 doctors here in the UK. So the UK isn't free of bad advice or wrong advice as well. So being told by the first doctor he's 80% sure he's got cancer, and then they did the biopsy and found that he didn't have cancer, and then the third doctor says you haven't had a collapsed lung. So 3 different doctors. So they may have given him the wrong information. They may have given him the wrong treatment. I don't know. But, without knowing 100% of the facts, Eddie has been diagnosed with brain cancer, and sadly he's been given about 15 months to live. And I don't know this 100%, but it's what other people have told me, that he got that information off the English doctors by telephone. Nobody came to see him at his hospital bed and said, oh, listen, by the way, Eddie, you're going to die in 15 months. He got it by telephone message. This is what other people have told me. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't really know. But what a way to find out that you've got 15 months to live by telephone. And if that is true, that's shocking. But that's in England. Okay. Just a pension, 200 per week. Plus pension from injury. Yeah, £200 a week. Again, it gives you over £800 a month. No problem. £1,000 per calendar month gives you a good lifestyle in Asia, but more importantly, you don't have to work anymore. Every day is your own. Do as you please. What a wonderful way to live. Thanks very much for that. I agree with that, concur with that 100%. I have my choice whether I want to do something or whether I don't. You've got to do something, that's for sure. I've always been a busy guy. I was a DIY fanatic. I had my own electrical business. I had my own children's entertainment business. property development, stuff like I've done many things. So I'm also always an active guy. So if I retired in Thailand and did nothing, I'd be bored stupid. But I keep my hand in. I do electrical work for various people. I supervise and help them out, if you like. I do solar panels, solar installations in my house, and I can't wait to get back to do that because I've been here for 5 weeks and I've sort of done nothing but a few videos. I'm just itching just to get back in the garden, cut the grass, do the hedges, sit on my sofa, watch the sunrise. And I'm missing that by being back in here in England. So if you retire anywhere in the world, you've got to be able to do something once you retire. Otherwise, you'll just go stupid and not being able to do things. So have a hobby, do something. If you haven't got a hobby, find a hobby, do something. But otherwise, you'll end up on the bar stool, in the bars, being a bar stool warrior and say, woe is me, which is sad to see. I'm 50, selling a flat in London, but keeping my property in Ireland. Retiring soon as flat is sold. I bought a condo in Narjomtium. Can't wait. Narjomtium, it's a little bit further out of side of Jomtium, but Narjomtium is a nice part of the world. You will enjoy it 100%, I'm sure. Well done. Best wishes and good luck for your future retirement plans in Thailand. Les, is medical insurance expensive when you reach 65 age in Thailand? I'm 64. My insurance is for 700,000 baht, which is about 15,000 pounds. It's not a lot. Many people tell me you're underinsured and that. But in reality, I'm quite a healthy guy. So why do I need a 3, 4, 5 million pound policy when I'm fairly healthy? When I get to 65, or I can feel my fitness go down, if you like, and I'm aching it and I'm complaining more, then I'll up my premiums because I've already got the policy, they'll never ever stop me from upping my premiums, of course. But at the minute, that cost me 524,000, so about 550 quid for 15,000 pounds worth of cover. Some people are going to say that's not enough cover. Certainly in the private hospitals, that'll go like that very, very quick. But if you go to the public hospitals, it's much cheaper, about quarter of the price. And when all said and done, you may even get treated by the same doctor that works in the private sector, because in Thailand, the private doctors that are working in the big posh hospitals have to do a certain amount of hours in the public hospitals. So don't knock the public hospitals. In my mind, a doctor is a doctor. He's still got the same qualifications, whether he works in the big private hospitals or the public hospitals. He's still a qualified doctor. So don't think you're going to get less treatment in a public hospital. Your money goes a lot further in a public hospital. I sing the praises of public hospitals because the people I know have been there have had treatment and have had good treatment and speedy treatment and quick results. So public hospitals. So a 65-year-old, when I get to 65, it will go up to 30,000 baht a year. So that's about 650 quid. And it's not expensive, is it? When you take into consideration 15,000 pounds worth of cover. It's not going to cure any of your big ailments or your big medical bills. If you had a heart attack, because a friend of mine had a heart attack and it cost him 230,000 baht to have some stents put into his heart. That's sort of a quarter of what I'm covered for. So even that, I'm still covered for a big operation like that. And even if you had a big claim, your insurance policy, they will not deny you cover the year after. And your premiums with Pacific Cross will only go up a maximum of a quarter of your premiums that you pay. That's in the maximum. That's if you've had the biggest claim that you could get. So no, it's not prohibitively expensive. It's not cheap. It's not the NHS, but that's what you have to pay. look at all the other things you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay council tax. You don't have to pay water rates. You don't have to pay TV licenses. If you just put your council tax, save £125 a year, what's that? 1200. That's £1,440 a year. So in reality, just for not paying your council tax, that gives you it gives you almost 3 years worth of cover for not paying your council tax for a year. So swings and roundabouts, my friend. You know, what you don't pay in this country, you can put towards your retirement health insurance over in Thailand. Swings and roundabouts, it's just playing with what you've got. But you have to find it. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, going back to the allotment, the weeds never take a break. Yeah. Okay, thanks very much for joining me. I've had my beetroot, by the way. Beetroot sandwiches, absolutely beautiful. But I've had 2 jars of beetroot over here. Beautiful. Thanks very much. Thanks so much for joining us. Just watched the Eddie vlog yesterday. I really hope it gets well enough so he can go back on the plane and live his life out in Thailand. If that was the case, he found out by phone. He's discussing it. Somebody told me that. He's not my cup of tea, so I don't go looking for everything that's been said about Eddie. But that's what somebody told me who watches Eddie all the time. I don't think he will ever, sadly to say, he'll ever be fit enough to go back on the plane or financially able to do that. I think sometimes he needs to have in my mind, a realistic view of his traveling days are probably over now. And he wouldn't be able to get the insurance to take care of him in Thailand. So if he had a relapse in Thailand, it's just so expensive and insurances won't cover him for that. So I'd like to see Eddie do what he wants to do to see out his days in Thailand, but financially and realistically, and I do talk realism. I think his days of seeing out the end of his days in Thailand, it won't come true. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong with that one. But I still wish him the best, and he's never going to recover. But I hope his health improves enough so he can do the things that he still wants to do before he passes. He's been given a duration to live, and it's what he can do in them last months that makes it count, doesn't it? How much for a small house in a quiet village near the sea in Thailand? British pounds, cheers. Okay, I can give you that because the house that I bought is about £72,000. Just over 3 million baht, £72,000. And that's a 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms, 5 minutes drive from the beach in a nice area, nice location. Ticks all the boxes for me. So, but again, if that house was in Phuket, it'd be probably 4 times as much as that. If it was in Chiang Mai, it might be about the same price. So location. Rayong isn't on the tourist map, really, because it's not a place for tourism. So because it's not a place for tourism, not many people come. So therefore, the prices are very reasonable. But saying it's not on the tourist location, I'm 30 minutes away from a beautiful tropical island, Koh Samet. Have a look at Google Koh Samet, and you'll see I'm 30 minutes away from that. And that's the most touristy location in Rayong. Many people come to that little island of Koh Samet, and it is beautiful. But I live 30 minutes away from that. And we have some lovely beaches where we are. But again, on the tourist location. And that's why it's so cheap and affordable to live in Rayong. I'm an hour and a half away from Pattaya, 2.5 hours away from the airport, 3 hours away from Bangkok, 3 hours away from Koh Chang. So everything, everywhere, that's beautiful, that many tourists go to, are only a short drive away from where I live. But I give where I live 100% because it's a reasonably priced place to live. The food is reasonable. The restaurants are reasonable because it's just normal, everyday people that are living there, expats. It's not a tourist location where prices, you will always pay a little bit more. So, yeah, £70,000, you can get a nice, beautiful house for that. But also remember, you can never own the house as a foreigner. You can own the house, but you can never own the land that it sits on. But there are ways and means of getting at least 30-year plus 30-year plus 30-year, all legal, where you can actually, so you still have ownership of the property, and you can do that by having a Thai lawyer. So you can own a condo 100%, but with the house, you will never own the land. But there are still ways to get around that are 100% legal, and I would suggest contacting a Thai lawyer if you want to buy a house. I prefer a house to a condo because I've always lived in a house, and I lived in a condo for 2 years in Jomtien. And as much as I like Jomtien, I always felt as if I was in a box. Like my sister's apartment now is an apartment. It doesn't have a garden. It's got a balcony, and I feel closed in. I'm in a box because I can't walk around my garden. So these are the things to consider. But realistically, 70 to 100,000 pounds, you'll get a beautiful house. Thank you, Les, for your beautiful video. Thank you very much for watching. Les, can you believe the doctor about Ed? They can be wrong. Well, all doctors can be wrong. It's like I said about my friend a couple of minutes or so ago. He had he diagnosed with cancer, and then he hasn't got cancer. Then he had a lung collapse, but he didn't have a lung collapse. So even doctors get it wrong. Hi, Les. I sold everything and moved to Bangkok over a year ago. So far, no regrets. I have a wonderful life. I can only fully endorse what you say on your videos. Thailand is wonderful. Thanks very much, Adrian. Thanks very much for that. Absolutely. I'm glad other people can see the light through the tunnel, if you like. You know, England, I'm thankful of living in England. It gave me the job, and it gave me the possibility of moving around and living on the other part of the world. And but that wasn't given to me in a plate. I, paid my pension, I paid my dues. The job that I did was, several jobs that I went to. I put my life on the line, if you like. So nothing is being given to me for free. I've had to work for everything. And it's so nice when you can go and live in the other part of the world and realize how lucky I am, to be able to do that. And I'm thankful to my lucky stars every single day. So I'm a strong believer in fate. What happens in life for a reason. And, take every opportunity that's passed to you. Don't ever say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Everything in life is possible if you want to do it. But Bangkok is an exciting city. I didn't like it at one time, but the more I've been to Bangkok, the more I like it. But I wouldn't want to live there. I'm not a big city guy. £50,000 dark side patio, 2-bed bungalow, 5 minutes off the mad taxi drive to the beach. There you go, £50,000. Well done. Now people call it the dark side because it's over the other side, the Sukhumvit Road. But yeah, there are many condos and things like that. Basically, the further you move away from the city centre or wherever on the attractions, the cheaper it gets. So transportation is essential, I would say, anywhere in Thailand because it's too hot to walk anywhere. I tell my wife almost every day I do a 30-minute walk, 45-minute walk into Redcar and back just to do a bit of exercise and gets me out the house as well. And we don't walk 5 or 10 minutes anywhere. We always go in the car or on the motorbike. And my wife would never, ever walk. The only one time she walked for an hour, when we first met, we had a big argument over it. She says, I don't walk anywhere for an hour. And that's the Thai people. They don't walk for an hour anywhere. So transportation in Thailand is a must, either a car or a motorbike. Rural Britannia, thanks from Oz. Don't sell everything and rent your UK house out and live on it, and your pension money in the bank is a bad investment. You need an exit route, especially if you cannot afford healthcare. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a sort of difficult one. I'll come on the riots next. I'll just answer this one. Yeah, don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other. I had houses out there I had for rental, and it was a nightmare for me. And I would never ever go down that route because it was horrible. I had three tenants who I had to evict, all on drugs, and it was going to take 18 weeks to evict them. 18 weeks of not paying any rent and damaging the property. The second property they had, and I've done a video about this, and the government came along 20 years ago, offered to rent the house off me for £1,000 a year more than what I was getting off the university, and I foolishly let them have it, only to give them back to me in a worse state than it was. And they told me they'd give me it back in the same state. Everything was brand spanking new. Everything was immaculate. It was a tip when they give me it back. And the solicitor told me, Les, again, another solicitor who told me, go ahead with it, you can't lose, told me the government have got deep pockets, Les, you're gonna win, but they'll force you to lose because you haven't got the money to fight it, and they'll win in the end because of money. So renting your property out nowadays, especially with the new rules that are coming in for tenants' rights and things like that, you know, they are, if you get the right tenant, fantastic. And I know some landlords that have had nothing but good feelings from renting out houses, but I've also met a lot of landlords that despise and regret renting their houses out, especially the house that they used to live in and own, because it becomes personal. But swings and roundabouts, you do what you want to do. I could never ever afford to come back to England. I'd have to rent a house, and if I rented a house now, if I wanted to live the same lifestyle that I've got in Thailand, I'd pay £1,500 a month to rent a house. And I'm going to do another video on that as well, as to the comparative costs in England compared to where I'm living now. And roughly it's £1,500 a month compared to my £500 a month I'm paying to buy my house in Thailand, as opposed to £1,500 a month to rent in the UK. So swings and roundabouts about that. And now coming on to the big subject, the what's going on in the UK. Here we go. Now this should be an interesting one. I have to be guarded in what I have to say, because at present there's a lot of controversy of what the government and the police are going to do about holding down private speech, free speech and things like that. So in the past week or so, there's been lots and lots of demonstrations all over the country. And I'm against violence, and I'm against how they're portraying the public's anger. But I'm also angry at the portrayal of the labelization, if you want. I'm not going to use the words that everybody's using, because these are the keywords that YouTube look for, and I could get my YouTube demonetized, if you like, for using them things. But plenty of people are getting labeled and tarred with the same brush when people have got concerns on how this country is going, justifiable concerns. But the difference between the people that are more vocal with it compared to the normal everyday people is being overrun, in my mind. And I think the violence and the damage that's been done has to be paid by the taxpayers. So when all's said and done, it's an awful thing to do, to burn places down, loot places, and the taxpayer ends up having to pay that in the end anyway. So violence and things unjust. I really wish I could say what I wanted to say, but I can't really. I will tell people it's unjust what's going on, and I feel unjust because I am I've retired to Thailand, and I have to abide by the law. I have to fill out various questions. Thailand can throw me out anytime they want if I'm a bad egg, if you want. if I went there illegally, I'd be put into jail. So the deterrent is jail and being thrown out. There's no deterrent here. Everybody's just streaming across, and they're still coming across on the boats, and they're still getting what they want. And like I said, I did the video on it. The people that are fleeing war-torn areas are living in a tent. They don't say, I want a 4-star hotel, I want 3 meals a day. They're just happy to get away from where they've come from. So why should the people be expected to be in 4-star hotels over here? And there are certain groups from certain countries that if they tell us they come from this country, we can't deport them to that country because they won't have them back in the first place. So we have to take them. Why should we have to take them? I agree with anybody and everybody that wants to make a better life for themselves, because when all said and done, this is what I'm doing. So, but don't expect freebies. I don't get freebies from anybody at all. I choose to live where I want to live, and I contribute to their society by giving them my income that I spend quite happily over in Thailand. But the people that are coming over here do not spend anything, and they get everything. So that's what I see what's going on in the UK. It's a slippery slope. Fairness. Be fair with everybody. You know, if I've been criticised for me when I came back from my healthcare, I came back, had my eyes done on the NHS. Some people, some trolls call me a scrounger. You know, using the health service. I went to see the doctor. My whole bill to the healthcare system was about 100 quid. With one visit to the doctor and me free eyeglasses or me free eye treatment, 100 quid. But I've still paid tax for the past 14 years that I've been out. So that equates for about £25,000 that I've paid into the tax system, and I've got nothing out of it. So I think the government can, you know, stretch to the 100 quid for my 2 treatments. I've seen the doctor and I've had my eye tested. But when other people have access, it took me nearly 2 weeks to go and see my doctor. But some of these other people have access to the doctor within 24 hours, free dental care, free everything. Give that to the normal everyday person that's living in this country before you start dishing it out to those that have come over here and they should be in prison or should be detained in some direction. That's my thoughts on it. It's quick and easy for that one. I think this country is going down the wrong route, and especially with the new Labour government that's coming in, they're going to tax the hell out of everybody. They're going to do a big U-turn and disagree with everything that they said they're going to do, because they'll say, oh, well, the last government left it in such a mess and we have to do this and we have to do that, we have to do the other. Labour, in my mind, is a con artist also. He's going to rob you blind, and he's going to leave everybody in more austerity. We've had austerity since 2008, since it happened, and here we are now, 2024. Does anybody in this country feel much better? The average working class, the rich are more wealthy, that's for sure. But does anybody feel any wealthier? The normal, average, everyday working person, do they feel any better? What's the last good thing that's happened in the 10 years? And I've asked this many times. Nobody can answer what is the last good thing that's happened to this country in the 10 years. Put your comments down below. Tell me what is the good thing that's happened in the last 10 years. So I've got 54 likes. The algorithm and the algorithm on YouTube likes thumbs ups or thumbs down. So can I have any more thumbs up? And if you don't like it, put thumbs down. They all count at the end of the day. And thanks very much for watching. And if anybody hasn't subscribed, subscribe would be nice, and it adds all of them numbers up, doesn't it? I'm 11,500 now, so I've got over 1,000 subscribers in the 5 weeks that I've been here. So thanks very much for all the new subscribers, and thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for taking part in the conversation as well. So here we go. Let's have a look, see where else. I've missed some of the comments because I've been talking to the camera. Yeah, my wife will take the electric bike 10 years away. Rental homes, no good. Lack respect, smash it all over. But yeah, again, I had that. I had 2 properties, and they were like crap. There really was. UK tenant pays 80% of the rent, 20% doing the house up. Bonus of both sides. My tenant landscape the garden. Oh, good for you. Good that you had a good tenant. Again, I've got other friends who were landlords who've got 4 or 5 houses and they've never had a bad tenant. I was just lucky. I went into the social housing market thinking I want to provide decent accommodation because the social market is always a hard market. And I believed at the time, foolishly, rose-coloured spectacles, give somebody a nice apartment to live in and they'll treat it with respect. No. Being kind was a sign of vulnerability, and they exploited that vulnerability of being nice and kind to somebody, and they just took advantage of it and trashed it. So yeah, social housing, it was a wrong move to make, and I've got to stick my hands up. And rose-coloured spectacles, I thought, by helping other people out, I'm a good human being, but that just gets trampled on by other people. I travel back once a year to see the NHS consultant and get some tablets. The NHS has a legal obligation to so on certain conditions. I got told if you're over 65, you have the right to be able to have anything done on the NHS. Or 66 now is either pensioner. I don't know the full rules and regulations for that, but I've sort of bit the bullet. If I get anything terminal, I'll see my days out in Thailand. It will not be a burden to the NHS. So for all those people who say that, you know, I'm robbing the NHS of a few quid or whatever, if I get an illness or I go and see the doctor, don't worry, I won't be a burden to the NHS. I'll see out my days in Thailand, and that's the route I took, and that's what I'm going to do. It's all right, Les. I would and probably will once I move to Thailand. Good. You are totally correct with the present and past governments. Yeah, we're going to get hammered by the Labour. They've already, you know, the pensioners, the winter fuel allowance. Okay, if you're on benefits, you're going to get it. But just take me on my private pension. There are people on benefits, more money than me as a single guy. So they're going to get the winter fuel allowance. But because I'm on a private pension, I get nothing. I wouldn't get the winter fuel allowance if I lived in the UK, I'd get nothing. Because I'm just above being on the benefit system. So therefore I wouldn't get free prescriptions. I wouldn't get what's the word I'm looking for? Do you know, I've got a mental block now. I wouldn't get I'll have to cut this piece out. I can't think what I wouldn't get. Anyway, I wouldn't get some benefits because the winter fuel allowance, I wouldn't get any benefits towards me housing and things like that. That's it. That's the link I would think. So I'd get nothing at all because I'm slightly above what you should be on benefits. But I know people here who are same age as me, free housing, free everything, free dentistry. That was the other thing I was thinking, free dental treatment because they're on the benefit system. I wouldn't qualify for any of that. So if you totted all that lot up, wow, they're on much more money than I am for working all my life. So it's gone down the pan. If you're a working guy, a normal working guy, you can lose a lot when it comes to retirement. I'll need to figure out how living in Thailand will affect my pension. Well, it'll affect your pension because it will freeze it when you move over to Thailand. If you live outside of England more than 185 days a year, your pension will be frozen at that amount. But there are ways and means by living in a reciprocal country. So if you want to live in England 6 months and Thailand 6 months, your pension will get the rises every year. But if you live in Thailand full time, your pension is frozen at the rate that you moved over to Thailand. But if you lived in the Philippines, because the Philippines is a reciprocal country, your pension will go up with inflation as well. There are several. There's a big list of countries that you can live in where your pension you'll get the rise every year, and that Her Majesty's government of pensions, or something, I forget what it's called, what the acronym is, but I've done a few videos on that, so you still can in certain countries get your pension rises every single year. But Thailand, they cap it. Yeah, just as Richard Coleman, your pension will not increase. But there's ways and means around that, and I've done a couple of videos on that, how you can go and live in a reciprocal country for 6 months of the year. And whilst you're living in that country, you get the extended rate. And then after 185 days, well, it's 183, but I always say 185 to cover any cock-ups. You don't want to be leaving a day late or a day early and losing that benefit. So 185 days is what I say, and then you will get your increase. And every year you'll get your increase. Yeah, that is the reason why I stay resident on paper in UK. Well, technically, again, it's a grey area. But I've got a few friends who still get the winter fuel allowance and have lived in Thailand for 15 years, and they still get the benefits and stuff like that. And their pension rises every month because technically they still live in England, although they've never lived in England. But in the eyes of the law, it's fraud. And they can recoup all of the excessive, once they find out, they can recoup all the excessive payments that they've paid to you. How they would do that in one lump sum or whatever, I do not know. But in reality, it is fraud. And then you will get a criminal record for that also, which could affect your stay in Thailand. There's people getting away with it. And then for me, I'd have to, well, I am going to inform them that I'm living over in Thailand because I know the system where I could work it out, where I could get my increase legally every year if I wanted to do it every year. But I'd probably build it up. I'd probably build it up after 3 or 4 years, and I'd go and live in the Philippines for 6 months, or go and live in England for 3 months, the Philippines in 3 months, and then come back to Thailand for 3 months. There's ways and means of doing it. And for me, is it worth it? Yes, it is. Because, for instance, the video that I've done, I've just used as an example. If you came to Thailand in 2019 and you are living in Thailand until now, so that's 4 years. 4 years you haven't had an increase. And in them 4 years, it's increased by 24%. So that's about £2,700 a year extra is what you'd be getting if you did it. So it's worthwhile going to the Philippines for 6 months. And then after 185 days, you are on that new rate. And whilst you're living in the Philippines, you're on that new rate. So let's face it, some people can say, well, it's going to cost me more money to do it. In 10 years' time, with that, even that one new rate is £27,000 in your pocket, as opposed to not doing it in 10 years' time. So if you leave it 10 years, you've lost £27,000. So if it costs you £6,000 to do it in that 6 months for a bloody good holiday in the Philippines, in 10 years' time, you're £21,000 in credit. So isn't it worth it then? I think it is. But some people view it differently. So it's all to do with playing around with the numbers, but it can be done. And living on your pension, you can get your increases, but there's ways and means of doing it. And I explain them ways and means on my videos. I'm a mind of information. I've got a solution to every problem. And there's ways and means of doing everything legal, because that's all I do, legal. That's the way I do it. Okay. I have a civil service pension and just started my old age pension, so enough to live on. I have lived in Vietnam for 18 years, but now the visas have gone up. Now looking into moving to Sarawak on a 10-year visa. Sarawak? Where's Sarawak? I've never heard of Sarawak. That's a new one to me. Yeah, again, visas, Vietnam never ever give retirement visas. It was always a sticky situation in Vietnam, but if they did that, it'd be a beautiful place to live. It's not worth on paper saying you are in the UK. If a that's the word, DWP, find out you are not living in the UK. Yeah, again, like I said, it's fraud. So they can recoup the money that they've actually paid you. Yeah, that's because the Philippines has a reciprocal agreement with the UK, 100% spot on. But there are many other countries around the world also that have a reciprocal agreement. And that's what you need to do, live in a reciprocal country, then you'll get your pension rise. But Thailand hasn't got that. And there's been brought up in the Houses of Parliament about altering the pension rules. But there's 500,000 people who are affected because they don't get the pension rise. And the government has said, because there was a meeting a couple of months or so ago, said they have no plans in altering the situation. And why would they? At the end of the day, there's 500,000 people that are not getting paid the full benefit, even though you've contributed to the system. The government aren't obliged to carry on and give you your rightful amount of money. Again, it's another, they're not going to change the rules because it means costing them more money. Have to have a very trusting wife to allow you to go to the Philippines for 6 months. No, I'll take my wife with me. I wouldn't leave my wife here. I'm going to go and get a glass of orange because my voice is gone. Oh, it's been a long time since almost 2 hours now talking non-stop. Okay, we're back again. So yeah, I mean, I'd go to the Philippines and take my wife with us because we like traveling anyway. Now I'm 2 years away from my state pension, and I've got to say my state pension, that's my travel money. My money that I get from my private pension, that's everyday living costs, and we can afford to live on that. But I'll be 66 when I get my state pension. That money is just going to go on traveling around. Maybe every 6 weeks we'll have 2 weeks away somewhere, and that's all it's going to be spent on is travel, and having a bloody good time whilst I can for as long as I can. So that's my next, and I'm already planning. I'm just over 2 years away from it. Where we're going to go, what we're going to do, and I'm looking forward to it. Malaysia is a beautiful place. We're going to go to Malaysia on the train. To get from Bangkok to Kuala Lumpur is £64 on the sleeper train. 64 quid. It takes 21 or 22 hours. And it's beautiful. I've been on the train all the way from Singapore all the way up to Bangkok. And it's a lovely way to travel. The sleeper train is very, very good. Am I craving for Thai food? Yes, I am. I'm missing me Thai food. I've sort of had the English foods here. I've had a parmo. People have had me. I've had a parmo. I've had a kebab. The kebabs are much, much nicer in Thailand. It's just all fat and gristle stuff here. It's horrible. But I've had a parmo. The parmos are very nice. Pizzas. Fish. I haven't had fish and chips. I refuse to pay £9 for fish and chips. 9 quid for fish and chips, and that's from the local fish and chip shop, just literally 100 yards from where I'm living now. And if you go into the seaside, Redcar seafront, there can be £9 and £10 for a small fish and chips. Fish and chips in my days was a poor man's food. Fish and chips. But now it's like 9 quid for a fish and chip. No, I refuse to pay £2.50 for a small portion of chips. What else have I had? I haven't had a Sunday carvery yet. or a carvery. I'm going to go and have a carvery before I go. I'm looking forward to that because that's just like a big Sunday dinner. Toasted tea cakes. I love toasted tea cakes. You don't get tea cakes in our country. Scones with jam and cream and cups of coffee. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There is a Thai restaurant in Redcar, but for what I would pay £2 for a Penang curry, if you like, in Thailand, it's £9 and £10 a year for a Penang curry. And I won't pay that amount of money because I know when I go back to Thailand, the food is so reasonably priced. So yes, I have missed the Thai food, but it's also nice being able to eat the English food, if you like. But I put half a stone on since I've been here. Basically, my sister feeding me custard slices, donuts, and all sugary stuff type of thing. But should I have eaten it? Yes, because I don't get custard slices. The custard slices with the icing on the top, it's just beautiful. I love custard. Custard is probably one of my favorite things. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to get back to Thailand for the Thai food. Yeah, free speech, English. They allowed us to talk school, college, university. They're talking. I was all put people in jail. Yeah, free speech is sort of free speech is free speech unless you say the wrong thing, then it can be held against you. I went there for a short holiday. It seems very quiet compared to Saigon, more relaxed. 65 pension age in New Zealand. That'll soon go up. I'm sure that they'll realign that to everything. Fish and chips, 12 quid in pool. Woo-hoo-hoo. Fish and chips in London, 14 quid for takeout. Wow. The only problem with Thai food is the amount of sugar they use. Yeah, they do use a lot of sugar in the Thai food. Yeah, you really should explain the cost of UK food in Thailand. £7 a box of Alpen, £2.50 digestives, etc. Don't get me started on sausages. Yes, Cumberland sausage is over £1 for a sausage. Again, I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to have a walk around the supermarket. I've already found a bottle of Coke. I drink 0-calorie Coke. I think it's 1.5 litres. And it is 27 baht, which is like 50 pence. Over here in Asda, just over the road from me, it is £2 a bottle. For a little bottle of Diet Coke, Coke Zero, in Thailand, it is 12 to 15 baht, 30 pence. And over here, it's £1.50 for a bottle of Coke. For a small bottle of Coke, £1.50. Everything is expensive. The only things I can say a good value for money at the minute, there's a cap on bus fare. So I drive up all the way from here to Middlesbrough, which is about 45 minutes on a bus, and it's £2. £2 there, £2 back. It's good value. Before they put a cap on all the bus fares, it used to be like £4. So £2, I could go to Whitby, which I will be doing, for £2 on the bus, which is good value for money. The train fare, if you buy your train tickets in advance, you can get good rail travel. I'm going all the way to Stansted Airport from Redcar, and that's cost me £48. Some people have asked me why don't I fly from Newcastle back to Bangkok, because flying from Newcastle to Bangkok is £200 more expensive than what I'm paying now, and it's to get a taxi, which is only an hour away to Newcastle Airport, is 90 quid. So I can save £200 from flying from London Stansted, and only £48 to get there by train. Okay, it's going to take several hours, but I don't mind traveling. I've got all the time in the world to travel. My voice is gone. I don't mind. I've got plenty of time to travel. I'm not in a rush to go anywhere. So I only have to change twice going from here to Stansted Airport. So I'm looking forward to the train journey as well. Les, thanks for all your help. I've settled in Koh Lanta. 10,000 baht a month for a small house near a beautiful beach. Fantastic. Good to hear. 10,000 baht a month, it's very affordable, isn't it? And how much would it cost you in a comparative style apartment or house near the beach where you came from? I think a little bit more than 10,000 baht a month. £1.55 for chocolate digestives in Vietnam. Oh. Tea bags UK cheap. I'm going to take some PG tips or Tetley tea bags home with me. I don't drink a lot of tea, but when I have people who come round to the house, which I do quite regular, for the yellow label tea bags in Thailand are just very, very weak and they're not very nice at all. In California, I get my state pension and federal social security. Problem is they haven't withdrawal tax. Security problem with their windfall tax. Okay, but tax is a unique situation to every country. £7.75 for 200 cigarettes, too cheap to give up. Yeah, that's it in Thailand. The cigarettes are very cheap. They're over £10 a packet now, I think, over here. Age pension is Australia's means tested. Oh, yeah. A friend of mine's coming up to that. Means tested, and you have to live in Australia, I believe, for 2 years before you can claim it. You need to take Yorkshire tea back with you. I'll take some tea bags back with me, that's for sure. I've got room in my case anyway. Nearly 20 quid. What was that for cigarettes? Wow. Les, can you cover great Buddhist teachings and monasteries in Thailand, please? No, I can't do that. I've been to a few temples and that, and once you've been to one Thai temple, they all look pretty much the same. And I have my own feeling on the Buddhist temples and that. They're a cash cow. There are places where you can donate your 20 bahts, your 100 bahts or wherever, every 10 or 15 feet in a Buddhist temple. And it's a good money making machine is all of this lot. And so I would go and sit when my wife goes around and looks at the temples, I'll go and sit in the coffee shop and have a cup of coffee and just watch the world go by rather than going for visiting Buddhist temples and things. So I'm not a religious person anyway, but I will not be going around temples and monasteries and things like that. Coffee shops, one of my best coffee shop videos. Well, it wasn't a coffee shop video. I said, could this be the best 7-Eleven with the views in the whole of Thailand? And that was up, I forget the name, but it was the five Buddhas. And my wife was looking around for that. And I found the 7-Eleven shop with the stunningly beautiful views. And I had a 7-Eleven coffee for 25 baht and a cake, a croissant for about 30 baht. Beautiful. Less than half the price of the coffee shop I sat in 50 yards away from it, and with stunningly more better views, and that was at a 7-Eleven. So no, I won't be doing monasteries and things like that. Sorry about that. Blah, blah. I lost the thing now. £50, £2. Oh, a tooth crown. No, I've got a tooth here that the back of the crowns fell off, so I need to get this done. Now, I had the other crown done a couple of years or so ago, and a crown to be replaced in Thailand was 8,000 baht for the similar material that was already on there. But bearing in mind that lasted 20 years, or she said, for 15,000 baht, we can put you on that guaranteed will not crack. And so I paid the 15,000 baht one. And it was only afterwards I'm thinking, well, I've had this other one for 20 years. So if I got the cheap one at 8,000 baht, and if it lasted me another 20 years, I'd be 84. So I'm thinking then I wouldn't be bothered if it fell out. So this one now, I'm going to go back to the dentist when I go back to Thailand, and I'll pay the 8,000 baht to get just the cheap one put in, because if that lasts me another 20 years, I'm happy at that. So crowns, I'm going to ring a couple of dentists up in England while I'm here now and ask how much it would cost for a crown. But my niece wanted 4 fillings at a private, because you can't get into an NHS dentist here for the life, you know, of anything. And that was going to cost her £800 for, I think, either 4 or 6 fillings, 800 quid. And they said, oh, we can take out a loan payment plan if you haven't got the money to pay for that. Wow, that's such a lot of money for 4 or 6 fillings. I forget how many it was, but 4 or 6 fillings, £800. No, thank you. So I'll do a video. I'm going to do a price comparison video of everything, and I'll include the dentistry treatment and things like that. I left the UK in 2006, but I did work for 22 years and paid into the system. And again, that's for me, that's my argumentative point. I paid into the system, never took anything out of it. I still pay tax on my pension. So, and I don't draw anything from the UK. So in some ways, I think there should be a bit of flexibility for those who've paid into the system, are still paying tax. There should be some allowance for if you need to have treatment and things like that, because when all said and done, the government want the cake and they want to eat it as well, but they don't want to give you any of it back. But that's just my sitting there. Many people will agree with me, and also equally there'll be many people who disagree with me. Once you've left, people say once you've left, you should be gone forever and not entitled to anything. But the fact that I'm still paying tax, you know, that's got to give me some little, you know, you've got to get something back. If you're paying somebody something, you should have something in return. Paid into the system for 46 years and still owe about 3k on a full pension in the UK. Yeah. Dental work must be cheaper. It is. Well, again, I'll find out how much it's going to cost for a crown, because the 8,000 baht, which is about 180 quid for one crown. Whereas I paid 15,000 for the other crown, and that was just over 320 quid. So it's 320 quid for a crown is still a lot of money in Thailand. That was for a good quality crown with a guarantee that it will not crack. Whether it falls out, that's another thing. But I'm sure the guarantee in Thailand isn't worth the paper it's wrote on. Dental work very cheap in Thailand. But again, like I say, we'll find 8,000 baht for a crown, for a cheap crown, and 15,000 one that's guaranteed not to crack. So is it cheap or isn't it? I don't know. I don't know how much people pay for a crown over it. Has anybody had a crown on here? Just put it in the comments. Because at the end of the day, any dental work isn't cheap in the UK. So anyway, we've been talking now for 2 hours and 12 minutes, and I'm going to call that an end to today's talk, because my voice is going out and feel it sore, and I've drunk all my orange. So I'm going to call that an end of the day. Thanks very much for everybody who joined in the conversations, and thanks very much for participating, and thanks very much for the questions. If anybody's got any questions to ask, please feel free to email me. I'm also available for any meetups that anybody wants to come and have a coffee or a beer in Wetherspoons, which is the Plimsoll line in Redcar. I'm here for 4 more weeks, so keep in touch. I don't know whether I'll be able to squeeze another live stream in before I get back to Thailand or not, but if I do, please come and join me. I'll put it online so everybody can come and join. And if not, thanks very much for joining. And also, crown £800. Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, that's expensive. But I'll find out when I make a few phone calls anyway. Thanks very much so much for joining me. Thanks for the best wishes from my sister that people have given me. So take care, and I'll catch you later.